Hey, you there. Thank you for watching and welcome to Forged Alliance Forever. Today I have a 6v6 custom match on the map Delta RIVA. It is a 20 by 20, so let's go ahead and introduce our players before the action starts getting underway. For Team 1, starting off with the blue player of Steven Pinker. He is going first air as a UEF in that normal blue, regular blue color. Blue. Next to him, we have Vanga going first air as well in white, going as a Cybran commander. Next to him, we have Vodalaz going first air as well in green, going UEF, and again, that's green in UEF. I guess the meta is starting off air for this match, which I guess is fair because there's a lot of map to cover. In red, we have Thema 20 going first air as well as a Seraphim. And again, that's red Seraphim going first air. In the back, we have Hihaho in Cybran, well, in Cybran, in blue as a Cybran going first land. And again, that's, navy blue. Again, not to be confused with the other blue that we have on Team 1. And last but not least, in the back line, for Team 1, in the rearguard air slot, we have Amy Dalla going first land, second air, I believe. Again, Seraphim in teal. That is the players here on Team 1. Let's go ahead and introduce Team 2 as well. Starting off in dark gray, we have Flagon Sackett 10 going first land as a Cybran. Would not be surprised to see, I was going to say air, but he's going to go second land. So forget what I was going to say. And again, that's dark gray Cybran. We have, for the next player, we have Barg 6516 going first land in gray, light gray. And he started off with first air. To his south, we have, well, the comm's already on the move. We have Noob Dragoon going first land, I believe. Yep, first land, second air. He is going in lime green. Again, Cybran lime green. Next to them, we have Eric Ruas going first air in purple as an Aeon. Again, that's purple Aeon. And then in the back line, we have Prima 96 going, I think it was first land, second air would be my guess, in dark purple, royal purple, I think we'll call it the royal purple. Again, that's Prima going first and second air in dark purple. And last but not least, for Team 2, in the southeast corner, we have Matchery 1 going first land, second air in forest green, very sensible color, as well as being a Seraphim. So for racial disparities for both teams, for Team 1, we have 2 UEF, 2 Cybran, and 2 Seraphim. So they are missing the Aeon technology in their toolbox. And for Team 2 down here, we have 3 Cybran, a UEF, a Seraphim, and an Aeon. So they have all of the factions represented down in the south. So all of the tools of the trade for them. We're having initial drops out from the forest green player of Matchery going for these northeastern, I would say volcano, but it's not active. Dead volcano, dormant volcano. There's a hydro unit. There's a hydro space, a couple mass points, a T2 power gen. That'd be very good to capture or reclaim for mass, as well as a T2 radar. And they are pretty shielded. I mean, you can get some missiles up there with enough effort from like cruisers and whatnot. But very defensible in the early game for sure. We also have civilian structures here on the island connected to these dormant volcanoes, as well as these radar installations in the northeast and southeast corner respectively. The map is pretty much cut almost at a 180 degree angle across the middle. It's slightly off a little bit. It's pretty much kind of like this, as you can see. But again, it's pretty much the northern section for Team 1 and the southern section for Team 2. If either team does not focus on getting these corner islands or land masses. I don't know if they're islands technically. We don't know. They're off the map. We have some comm movements. We have the comm of Themo out on this island here on the north. We have the comm of Flagon getting some naval factories up and running. And again, as you can see, lots of water, and that means lots and lots of boats for this map. And I just finished making sure this match works. There's no desyncs or anything. You gotta watch it. It is back and forth. It's intense. It's a great match. So I'm very grateful to be able to present this to you guys today. And we have some movement out from Eric's comm going for that island over here. It looks like his opponent here, Steven, has started a land factory subdivision over here, and as well as grabbing this downward volcano. He went for the claiming of the mass versus using the structures. I don't know what the math is on that. It looks like Team 2's air player of Matry did the same, at least for the radar installation, and it looks like that is a capture order. Can we see exactly? I think that's a capture order, I would assume, because the hit points are going up. So I don't know what's up with that. Answer down in the comments, because it's repairing the structure. Oh, I guess it's Cybern, so it would be repairing the structure naturally anyway. So he is capturing it. So that's probably a good move. Going for that extra energy to boost up air production, which, again, smart move. We have some drops down here from 2 players on Team 1 securing this northern section of the map, making sure they get those reclaim as well as those mass. We do have some drops out from the royal purple player, of Prima. Not a whole lot of presence for him down here. We just have one solitary engineer going for a hydro, and we do have, again, land factories being produced to secure that southern section. So Steven Pinker is going for map control first and foremost for him, ensuring he establishes a front line perimeter. I guess it actually would be like this. Also, there's a little tiny mass point right here with a Salem wreck and a frigate wreck as well. In reclaim, it has been a couple minutes. Most of the reclaim is going to be on these, I guess, primary middle islands, what you would call them, the ones connected to the dormant volcanoes. And there's a decent amount of mass, located on these little edges here, and some in the coves for the southeast, southwest, and northeast locations. But again, not a whole lot of mass in terms of 20 by 20, in terms of 6 players, so 12 players, 6 on each team. Not a whole lot of mass to go around, so it's going to be primarily focused on generating deco, getting mass fab farms, getting RAS comms up and running quickly, be able to out-eco your players on the other team. We have another drop out here from the white player of Vango, looking to get himself an established foothold. But there's one defensive structure, so you can't just easily just send engineers out, but a couple Team 1 artilleries will mop that up in no time. We have the comm of Eric going for a capture instead of a destroy. We have T2 on the cards for Steven, going for that early tech upgrade, getting that long range sieging capabilities with those triads. Again, you can take a look at how far they fire. They fire pretty much all the way over to here, and there is this radar here that helps give a good idea of what's going on pretty much around his entire island here. Good to see him establishing a forward operating base and perimeter. We do have naval forces starting to build up here in the middle. Again, a couple frigates and a couple of some subs. Good to see a good mix of both, because again, if he didn't have any subs, he couldn't fire back on these Tiger Sharks. But again, if he's not paying attention, he's going to lose a couple of frigates here. So again, early game, got to be aware of what's going on. You don't have subcom brain at 10 minutes, but you will after the end of this match. You most likely saw the timestamp for this video. It's a long one. It's over an hour. So if you don't got time to finish it in one setting, put it in your watch later playlist, save it for later, come back to it when you got more time, because again, this is a very good match to watch, at least in my opinion, of course. We have some T2 PD as well, these Oblivion turrets being used to help push back the units of Steven. However, that triad is pretty much going to prevent that Oblivion from finishing. When if it does, it's going to die very quickly. There's going to be a lot of build up here for both teams in their respective corners. So you won't see a whole lot of air units. I mean, a couple out from the primary land, like Navy players. I was going to say land, but Navy players. And again, some land players. They are fighting on land a little bit, but it's I'd say this map is 80%, 75% water with, you know, terrain obstacles and whatnot. A lot of the comms getting into the water. Again, void detection. Comm of Noob Dragoon out in front. He might go, because he is Cybran, he might go for the torpedo upgrade to shoo away some early naval forces out from Team 1. We have a Cooper, a torpedo boat, spamming out those torpedoes, dealing lots and lots of damage to these frigates. That will definitely be some units to watch out for. And again, UEF tech, of course, you're playing on a Navy map, a lot of water map. You know what that means, Atlantis, and that's bread and butter for those UEF commanders. It's going to be Atlantis. You're going to get some Neptunes probably for some T2, as well as those Summit class, Summit battleship class naval units. So again, lots of damage, lots of firepower on those things, and Atlantis can also build air units. So, you know, you got a 2-in-1 and anti-air. So, you know, that's really good. You got to drop out from the force player up match rate, looking to try to secure this mass point and go after some mass down here. But that engineer just gets wiped out. I feel like that drop was a little too aggressive. This engineer is starting a reclaim order on this other opposite opposing engineer, going for a mass extractor, takes out one of them, and the other one is dead. Wouldn't be surprised to see a couple T1 artilleries, or the comm of Themo is just going to go and just deal with that problem himself. We have a counterintelligence boat out here from Team 2. What this pretty much does is it pretty much blocks a lot of the radar signatures from the enemy. You can see they can't see that boat, and it kind of provides an AoE as well, so we can select that. You can see pretty much everything in this kind of amber rust color ring is pretty much being nullified, including itself. But if you have Omni or anything, you're going to see that. So it's kind of been, it's very good early on, not really so great later on. And again, if I'm wrong about any and all unit abilities, if I'm wrong about anything, please let me know down in the comments, because I want to give the best cast possible, and the only way I can do that is with your help. So thank you so much for all of the support I've been getting from everyone, all the comments telling me, hey, you should improve camera angles, hey, you should improve the minimap says. All that just helps me become better and better, and you get a better quality product from these casts that I'm producing. So again, thank you so much for all of the support, and I encourage each and every one of you to do the same. If you like the video, please like it, comment down below on what I can improve on, or what you think I should do next. I've gotten some suggestions about a Phantom game, which I am starting to look through the vaults for. And if you have a game that you would like me to cast, please send it over to me in the comments. I would greatly appreciate it. I'll take a look at it. So let's go ahead and continue with the game. Again, we have more naval pressure coming out from Team 1, looking to attack these forward operating facilities out from the comm of Flagon Sackett. But he is going for the torpedo upgrade, like I mentioned earlier. Not for Noob Dragoon, he's back here, but a Cybran commander is going for torpedo. And I'd say that's really common, especially for naval matches with Cybrans, is that at least one of the comms goes torpedo. I mean, it allows you to fire back, so I mean, why not, right? We have some T1 bombers almost taking out one of the factories. I would say probably maybe go after these mass extractors in the back line. I feel like that's more lasting damage. I mean, they probably could have taken out at least one or two of those by now. And yeah, they'll take out a couple of factories, but that's about it. There won't be a whole lot of, again, lasting damage. We have some subs out from the naval plate. My brain. The other blue player, one of the blue players. Wow, my brain cannot figure out the word for that blue. Navy blue. Wow, there we go. I've been saying navy a lot. My brain just like could not come up with the word for some reason. And then you can see the effectiveness of that torpedo com. Doesn't do a whole lot of damage, of course, but with enough firepower, it can take out some early units. And Team 1 is Hihaho is making everyone aware that there is a torpedo com over here. Again, communication, intelligence, anything and everything to let your allies know that there is an opportunity or there's a experimental on the way, or any intel at all is beneficial than no intel. So it allows everyone to prepare adequate either forces to defend or attack. We have the comm of Eric has pushed his opponent Stephen off of this island here, and it looks like we have some governor classes coming out using their long range missiles to torment him. We do have these volcanoes, these T2 tactical missile defense, the most effective tactical missile defense in the game. And again, he's spamming more and more of those up. You see these little balls that come off of them. They kind of act like flares, and the missiles are like, oh, I want to shoot those. I want to hit those, instead of the actual installation. It does take one of them out. They aren't perfect, of course, because with enough firepower, they can overwhelm them, like everything in this game. But they are a very, very good counter to tactical missiles. We have a Salem class supported by a counterintelligence boat, and you can see how they can't see this at all. Like, they can't see that Salem class doing anything. When it gets on land, they probably can. It's invisible to them right now, and that's all thanks to that counterintelligence boat. So again, very effective. Allows you to sneak stuff in without your opponent knowing, and then it's going to spread its little legs and start roaming on the land. Would not be surprised to see the comm of Eric pull back and try to take that Salem class out with his cannons from his ACU. And there's more pressure out again from Team 1. We have Valiant class supported with some cruisers, those governors. They're going after the comm of Flagon, but again, not a whole lot of damage. He has some destroyers of his own, these Salems, and this is going to be batted away. That's pretty much just a mass dump for Team 2. But again, Voda, again, letting everybody know there's a Torp comm. That's the second time that's been mentioned. Amy letting everybody know that they have 2 air players in the back line. They are, of course, Matry, starting up his air grid, and we also have the Royal Purple player, Prima, as well, going for air. And again, large map, land isn't going to be a huge focus, and so if you have 4 players focus Navy and 2 players focus air, I feel like that's a good combination, because you can have 1 player focus pretty much top lane, 1 player focus the bottom lane, and then 2 players focus the middle lane, and then obviously divert forces when needed. A bunch more Covenanters come on the front of this island, again taking out the rest of those volcanoes. They do have other weapons as well, but their primary weapon is, of course, their missiles and their anti-air. And the comm of Eric is forced back and is going to probably go back into the water and head back to his base. We have an Exodus class T2 destroyer online as well, so everybody teching up quite nicely. I don't see T3 as of yet. I wouldn't, at least in the naval game. Obviously there's T3 air at this point. We're at 18 minutes, so again, it is a little bit of a slower build up. Again, this is a big map. A lot of players are teching up, a lot of players are ecoing up. We can check out ecos very quickly. We have 1.2 to 1.2 for both teams, so pretty much on even pace. We have Team 1, the northern team, leading the total mass accrued by about 30k. So it's not a huge issue. That's probably due to reclaim. No, Team 2 has more reclaim. Just barely, though. But again, Team 2 could have started late with the generated eco, and it's starting to kind of, yeah, just kind of actualize at about 30k advantage. So give for Omni. Looks like saying, hey, I'm going to upgrade the Omni for you. The Amy has the power to support that Omni, and it is a pretty far forward. It's in the middle, so you know cruisers could probably hit it, or battleships of course, but you have some tactical missile defense as well to help protect it. So good move there. Would have liked to see that in front of the radar instead of behind, but you know, at least it's there. It's better than nothing. Looks like we also have Omni in this little dormant volcano. That's actually a very good move because it's, you know, protected by a shield. You have stealth field generator. You have, you know, natural environmental defenses. So that is, you're gonna have to bring in some strat bombers to be able to take that out. There's also SAM. So again, this is a heavily defended position. That's a good move on the four-screen player of Matry, the air player. We have some incursions in the ground. Looks like the comm of Eric was was killed by these naval forces out from Team 1. I apologize for missing the death of them focusing on some strategic elements of the game, of course, because it is an RTS. But that is the first death for the game, dropping the game to a 6v5 in favor of Team 1. Transfer of control of those auxiliary forces from Eric is over to Prima. He'd be better suited to defend and use that infrastructure, but we have some destroyers, we have some cruisers, we have T2 amphibious tanks just peppering all of those defenses. I would go after the Peachins first, and then now they switch over to Peachins. That'll provide an explosion to help take off more hit points and then focus down the mass. So that's going to be a loss for Team 2. We have some ASFs hovering over to help protect this southwestern portion of the map, and they pretty much control that whole sector right here. There's a couple mass points for Team 2, but pretty much they control this, you know, corner of the map. That's about 25%, almost 25% of the map right there. Naval units coming out to help support. It's a little too late, and they are moving in to the middle channel here, the central channel, to the back line of Team 2, and that would have been better suited to go around this way instead of the other way. It is again a narrower passageway, and this Salem class is going to try and do his best to hold off. That's not going to be enough. These torpedo bombers going after, again, the Governor's very good move. Looks like the Salem also is prioritizing the anti-air, so then another wave of bombers can come out. So maybe some economic damage will be done. Maybe that T2 mechs will go down. It's starting to be focused down. We have some torpedo bombers also out from an ally in Team 2 from New Dragoon. That force is going to be dealt with right quick. We have, I think that's a whole host of engineers coming onto the island. Oh, actually, they're going to keep going all the way down, establish a forward operating base here for the teal player of Amy, looking to probably get some more mass to help accelerate their air grids as well as anything else they have planned for this game. ARAS has been completed for Themo, getting that advanced resourcing options available to them, scaling up eco, and again you can see that that eco is starting to favor Team 1. Obviously the death of one of Team 2's players and all the infrastructure being annihilated doesn't help that. There's a amphibious tank. It's being like, I'm trying to do damage to this ASF. I'm gonna oh, it moved. Again, this is a long game and there will be a lot of things happen, so I apologize ahead of time. And again, I've already missed a death of a comm, but a lot of stuff happens. A lot of back and forth. We have the laser underway for Hee-Ha-Ho. Wonder if they'll get the teleporter. That's a very early telemaser if they go for that. I mean, you can't fire the laser underwater, so that's not really viable there. I'm interested to see what they do with that, as well as with T3 upgrade for Amy getting extra hit points and also using their comm as, again, a T3 engineer. with the capabilities of a T3 engineer, I should say. Team 2 has made some inroads in the middle, pretty much claiming this middle channel for the most part. They do have a huge host of T2 amphibious tanks to deal with from the comm of Steven, constantly putting pressure down, constantly distracting his opponents so that his teammates can get up more and more forces here in the middle. I'm interested to see why there's no... I guess there are some T1 subs, but there's not a huge effort to move units around this side of the map. This top lane has pretty much been secured by Team 1, obviously, except for the dormant volcano location of Matry. But they have gone in that way, and unfortunately for them, Team 1 subs just don't have the firepower enough to take out a lot of these T2 forces. They are halting production of a lot of these units, but again, every time a unit comes on the field, these sub killers, they're able to fire much faster and deal more damage and take out, again, that's another sub, and then this one probably will still die, but this next one will definitely seal the deal for this attack out from Team 1. Again, Team 2 just holding steady. They're building up a contingent of amphibious tanks. They're also getting a naval factory very far forward there. Maybe they'll spam out frigates? I don't know, but that's very far forward and definitely in Team 2's territory. I feel like that might be a little too far forward. Maybe put it back here in this channel just to prevent any aggression going that way. But we have a host of Cormorant T2 torpedo bombers coming in from the Royal Purple player of Prima, looking to take out that cruiser. They were able to take out these naval factories, these mass fabricators down here in the south, and the ASF come in to intercept. The torpedo bombers are still holding steady here. They notice it probably too little too late, and that is going to be a slaughter for those torpedo bombers. Unfortunately for Team 2. We had a couple experimentals built. We have the Atlantis, the experimental aircraft carrier. Again, my favorite naval unit in the game. Lots of hit points, lots of torpedo damage. Just, again, all around a very good unit. And it being UEF is super beefy. 40,000 hit points. Look at all of those torpedoes just firing off of that submarine. Just annihilating anything and everything it can get its torpedoes locked onto. I know there's another experimental built somewhere. I didn't catch who it was built by. I was distracted by other things. Don't see another one of those circles. It could have been Team 2. And that's the only experimental I see as of right now. A host of whalers here that are, again, caught out. There are some anti-air capabilities on these wallers. They are not as effective as the restorers, but they can fire back a little bit. And I guess Matry used those, incidentally used those as bait, and now an air fight goes down here, over here, close to the middle, and it's hard to zoom in on that. And that is going to be pretty much air dominance for Team 2, but again, a big map. It's hard to control all of that airspace. And then Amy even letting his team know that they have lost air, which was signaled to me that build ASFs and cruisers and stuff to help diminish the air superiority of Team 2. Thema, go full blue air. I can handle Navy. There is a strategic launch, a nuke out from the air player of Matry in the back line. That nuke is the first nuke launch of the game. There are going to be a lot of nuke launches in this game as well, folks. So be aware of that. It looks like that is going for... What is that going for? Oh, I lost the command line. It's on this. It might be going for a base. Might be going for the air grid back here. That'd be a very good bag. It doesn't look like there's any SMD. The SMD is built, not loaded. And engineers hurriedly get into the water to avoid the blast. That nuke continuing its trajectory, and that is pretty much where it is going. Let's get in position. Let's turn off the UI, turn off the little symbols that we got here. Let's kind of pull it back just a little bit so we can watch this nuke land and destroy a lot of structures here on this northern plateau or landmass. Boom, boom, boom. That's a huge portion. That's like pretty much the entire air grid. Takes out the T3 air headquarters. Leaves one factory online. At least air factory. There's a couple land factories here in the corner. Let's turn the symbols back on. Turn the UI back on. Get this camera back in normal position. There it goes. And that's a huge loss for Team 1. And a huge drop in resources. No, Team 1's still holding steady with the mass generation. And they've even expanded their lead to 140,000 mass. We have counter Atlantises on the front line with a lot of dead naval units. Looks like that submarine, that Atlantis, was destroyed out from Team 2. Team 2 builds another land. There's one online on the way to the front line. There's another one that's just been constructed. Ouch. Now look, you have Corsairs out from one player. You have Atlantis from another player. You have T3 battleships out from another player. And you have subs from another player. I guess that's the same player as a sub. So one player focusing on subs, one focusing on pretty much T2 units, and one player focusing on T3 units. A very good teamwork mesh going down here for the middle for Team 1. And again, those Atlantis submarines, there's another one. I think that's been finished. Yep. They have another one. That's really far forward too. And they know they can build that far forward because they have the superior numbers here in this middle of the map. Continental class transports being used to offload SACUs to the front line, most likely being used for mass reclamation efforts. Again, we have 16,000, 18, like 30, probably 40, 50,000 mass here, including this little pile over here. We have another experimental out. Another Atlantis has been constructed. The only issue is because they face southward like this, it's easier to build them, let's say, here, and then they can easily turn. How the pathing works is they have to like do a 20-point turn just to turn. But this one is a lot better. But again, that one's been built for a little bit. There is a brick that made it all the way over here. And does it take out that mass extractor? It's going to be close. It does bag that mass extractor, and that will be a win, and takes out engineer as well. Looks like it's done a decent amount of damage here as well. So very good getting that run by pretty much all the way in the back line. Also looks like there are more bricks coming in from, well, at least, that direction over there to the north. And all of these bricks trying to make landfall. One of them is going to fall victim to torpedo spam. And they do have onboard. Do they have onboard? Yeah, they have onboard torpedoes as well. There's another nuke out from Matry as well. That's the second nuke launched. Again, I think that is the only brick that's going to make landfall. No, it does not. And that one barely gets out of the water. I charge subs in. Yeah, that's not going to do a whole lot, especially with those Team 1 torpedo launchers already online. Another Atlantis. There's 2 under construction in the back line. That nuke out from Team 2 is headed in the direction. Looks like Steven is the target. At least based on trajectory, that's what I would bet. Are they going to go for a kill? Because it looks like it's going on a collision course with the comm. Let's see. Does it keep going? Does it keep going? It does not, and decides to land on the base. Takes out an SMD that was almost loaded. Again, boom. The nuke is not as impressive as other factions nukes. I mean, it has a little like fireball, but it's not as pretty as other nukes in the game, unfortunately. Conversation going down between teammates. It's 30 minutes. Why isn't the SMD loaded? It's a little salt, but a fair point. It is 32 minutes. The SMD should already be loaded. Again, Atlantis is falling to the depths of the ocean here. Lots and lots of torpedo launchers, lots and lots of frigates. Just anything and everything Team 2 can throw at Team 1. Look at all those frigates hovering above that Atlantis. This is like, oh, that's a lot of targets. It's a target-rich environment. Look at that. But again, those frigates cannot fire back against these Atlantises. I don't think their AoE on their cannons can even target the Atlantises. We are having some attack subs, these T2 sub killers. We have some RASCOMs being used to spam up torpedo launchers. Would like to see some Cyberns, because they build the HARMs, the T3 torpedo launchers. They are very effective. Again, you can see them over here. There's one right here. fire so many torpedoes out. We have another, I was going to say drive-by, but it's not a drive-by. Pretty much a outflanking, but again, this isn't a force that's really going to do a whole lot. Maybe it'll take out some engineers, maybe a factory, but it's more of a distraction for a couple seconds. We have forces out from Noob Dragoon. They have pretty much secured this southern section and have moved all the way south. That's another comm kill. This time out for Team 2. That's a kill for Team 2, just to be clear. And Steven is taken out. Looks like a combination of naval and air units. And all of these whalers are going to be able to take care of the rest of Steven's old base. We'll probably target the SAM as well as that T3 air factory. ASFs being used to help protect those gunships. We have a couple battleships trying to make their way past all of this main fighting going here in the middle section. Again, more and more Atlantis is popping up as time goes on. That's getting to a scary number of Atlantises, by the way. We have some sub-hunters, sub-killers out from the white player of Vanga, trying to take anything and everything out as they can. Those factories do go down. These battleships are being focused on these hives here, preventing any additional units from being constructed. And these Atlantises, just because of their high hit pools, I mean, this one is 5 vet. It now has 60,000 hit points. The base is 40,000, so it's, you know, increases hit points by 50%, which is a huge jump. And yeah, these battleships, some of them have vet and they start to gain hit point regen, but it's not going to matter because of all the torpedoes coming out from these Atlantises. You have 5 to Team 2's 1 on the front line. There's another one built. They've moved up production a little further up. That's not going to matter though. 5v1, that's not go. Looks like there's conversations about a YOLO. Is there anything on the cards back here? They have an SMD, of course. Nuke launcher primering its next missile. Looks like the YOLO is planned to be right here. Probably put it a little further back in case enemy naval units come in and launch plasma, shell that position. But I mean, the front line is pretty much here, with a little bit of forces having a run by over here. But those battleships are being dealt with a combination of subs and torpedo bombers and gunships, and also destroyers. So that battleship is not long for this world, and it's trying to deal damage to these hives, but these hives are repping up the shield. It's not really going to matter anymore. They were able to take out this secondary base over here, as well as pretty much the entire base of Steven, with Amy on duties to reclaim and rebuild. A lot of infrastructure is going down for Team 1. You have harms, you have SAMs, you have these shield boats offering protection for said harms, you have more torpedo launchers, you have a bunch of factories, you have a T3 factory up in front producing those Summit class battleships. And again, battleships under the shield provide more protection. You have some Galaxy class here in the south, but again, Team 1 definitely in the naval game, definitely has the advantage. Some of those Atlantises do go down. It's now a 3v1. That one's almost been destroyed. That's the 6 vet one, or 5 vet one. There's another experimental built. That's another Atlantis. Do we got anything spicy in the backup? We have another nuke launch. There's a Maver, about 25% completed down here for Barg. We have another nuke launch. Where is this nuke going? Can we see it before? Looks like it's going straight for the Navy in the middle of these 3 Atlantises, as well as these harms. It's going to blow a hole in the defensive line, front line for Team 1. Looks like Atlantises are also being used over here to prevent any additional aggression. Whalers being used en masse over here to take out some battleships. These ASFs are going to make quick work of them, but there is a decent amount of anti-air coming off of that, so we'll have to check back on that in a minute. Nuke goes to land. Boom. Takes out, looks like, at least 2 of those Atlantises. The 5 vet one is destroyed, with that one being like, I'm going under the water now. That was scary. And torpedo bombers being used to be like, we're going to kill that third one. And how many hit points are they going to be able to take off from that Atlantis? And they're going to probably be able to kill it. Oh, down to sub 3,000 hit points. And those torpedo bombers are not going to get another crack at it. I thought I heard RAS comms being destroyed. That always freaks me out sometimes because I keep thinking those are comms. The teleporter is now underway for Hihaho. Going for a telemaser comm. Going to do some teleporting shenanigans. Looks like that Atlantis is still operational. Those subs have a target. Try to go for it. They get hit by the other. They hit the other Atlantis. And again, even if you have one hit point, you can still do full damage. So full damage, excuse me. So don't be afraid to use units that are at low health, because again, it doesn't matter how many health you have, you still produce the same amount of DPS, if all your guns are in range, of course. There's a upgrade going down for the comm of Voda, going a shield comm, I think UEF. So again, getting that temporary hit points up and running. Let's see how the YOLO is progressing. It's in the red, gonna tick over to the yellow here pretty soon, almost at 25% constructed. How's the Maver? The Maver's a little over the 50% mark. So that is going to finish first. Are there anything else in the back line for Team 2? I don't think, and I wouldn't put anything too far forward just in case those naval units out from Team 1 get super close. And we have another attempt from these subs. I mean, yeah, you're trickling, a couple subs here and there. It's not, after a while, your opponent's going to know what you're doing, and it's not going to matter because they're going to have enough defenses up online. 5 Atlantis is in the middle of the map versus 3. Again, we also have these battleships. We have other subs. We have these, the SAMs are going to do anything. The harms, like there's a lot of things online for Team 1. They can easily hold out against this force, but we do have a decent amount of Galaxy. We have 2, 4, 6, 8 Galaxy class battleships on the front line. A lot of shelling power. Would like to see them brought probably to about, I mean, you can actually just sail over top of those Atlantises, because that's where all the battleships are for Team 1. So you should go over there to take those out. Being over here, they're not effective. They're not, a lot of these aren't even in range to fire. And the teleporter's still underway in that YOLO. Do I see anything else in the back line? Just air production. I don't see anything else. Mass fab farms. We have a nuke launcher, a counter nuke out from Team 1 from the red player of Themo. We have a strategic missile sub, a plan B out from Hihaho. So getting mobile nuke launches available to them. Again, more tools in the tool belt to use. Our Maver's at 66%. What are they talking about? Build strats against Maver. Themo's making a comment about the Maver. They are aware of the Maver. Again, would like to see more and more shields. This looks like a prefab because you have a huge section of SAMs, huge section of kennels. Two shields. 2 shields are not enough. You need like 30. Looks like telling Matry to nuke that section of the defenses and give mass for the YOLO from the player of Hihaho. Nukes at 30% is what Matry says. And again, communication again is very key. You can't win a game by yourself unless you're playing a 1v1. At least in the beginning. We're at the 40-minute mark, and again, you're like, wow, that's 40 minutes. A lot of games are kind of reaching the end point. Like, we're about halfway through the game, so you still got another half a game to go through. If you made it this far, please, if you've enjoyed it, please like the video. Comment down below about what I can improve on, whether, again, videos, editing, camera angles, anything and everything to help me improve and make better and better casts for not only myself, but for everyone watching. A nice shot of these Atlantis is just on the edge of the, oh, sorry, that's a mountain, edge of the water. All those battleships, that the AoE splash damage from the splash damage, not AoE splash damage, the AoE damage from those battleships are going to be doing lots and lots of, but you can see the hit points start to be ticking away. It's not full damage, of course, like a direct impact, but they are going to be able to kill a couple of these Atlantises. They are pretty weak. And the amount of reclaim in this middle section of the map is just ridiculous. Let's just actually check out the reclaim totals for both teams. We have 374,000 reclaim for Team 2 and 260,000. Pretty much that reclaim is pretty much helping covering the distance between the total mass accrued for Team 2. Team 1 leading the generated eco by 100, which isn't a whole lot, especially because we're talking about 2.6 to 2.4, 2.5. Again, Team 1 pretty much have come back in the southern section, trying to flank the naval units out from Team 2, go into the back line, take out supply lines as well as factories. We had this Neptune class that got all the way back here and I went way too far, and is going to pay for it with its life. We have a nuke out from Themo. There was a comment saying kill SMD, probably referencing the SMD for the Maver. There are some... Oh, it's actually nuking the main base of Flagon. So that's going to hurt for him. And he's even reclaiming anything and everything he can get his hands on. And that nuke is going to land, of course, because the SMD is, of course, dead, and he knows it, and is sending all of that mass to Matry. And that nuke lands. Okay, apologies for all the pauses. Boom. Takes out a couple RASCOMs. That base is no longer operational. We have a Scathis now completed. That must have been underwater and I didn't notice it. And the first shot, a couple of first rounds are starting to rain down from the heavens, targeting that YOLO. That YOLO is completed. That nuke is being focused on producing it. They produce nukes very, very quickly. Again, lots and lots of production, lots and lots of build power will produce these nukes. Pretty much, you can build them before the first, so if you were to nuke the other side of the map, you could build one and launch it before that first nuke even lands. So again, very fast production on these things, just naturally, and then of course with additional build power, just insane. Those shells taking out pretty much the entire air grid for Amy, but again, their priority is focusing on this YOLO. The first YOLO nuke is ready, and it's powering up its engines, and it does launch. Look at that huge missile. And where is it targeted? Let me scroll back out to see. Does it show? It does. It's going to nuke the Maver, and it's going to edge it out, I think, actually. There's an SMD here. It's covering the Maver. Unfortunately, since they planted it right here, it might actually just skim the edge just barely. Get rid of that stupid panel. Again, if anybody knows how to get rid of this mass fabrication panel, I'd greatly appreciate it. It's super annoying. I don't need to know how many there are. And that's probably even more than that, to be honest. That nuke is on its way. And Team 2 is losing the Navy game. It's slowly but surely being snuffed out. That nuke, let's see, does it skim the edge? It is going to, and these whalers come in to help take out the SMD. It does land. This nuke is, oh, do apologies. This nuke is going to be beautiful. Lands all the way up there. Do apologies, kind of hard to zoom out. The camera locks me out. AoE starts to come in. You can see it encroach. Get closer and closer. Takes out the Maver. That is a dead Maver. There was a Maver and a Scathis built and a YOLO built at the same time. We just needed the Paragon to see all three of those game enders at one time. We again, that nuke just landed. We're gonna have another one launch as well. Looks like it's on a collision course with the rest of Barg's main base. We're going to take out pretty much the reclaim as well as these satellites. Probably shouldn't be building satellites if you've already been nuked. And the satellite just was built, and it's going to not last very long. Team 1 could put a lot more pressure down in the middle. Team 2 has pulled their forces back. They could easily take out all of these harms, all of these torpedo launchers like this. They're just torpedo launchers on harms. And that nuke, again, like I said, is going to land. The SMD were taken out, and there's not any in the clip. It's the ground. I hate how the AoE cloud does not, you can't see it from the ground. I do apologize. Takes out T3 factories, takes out all of those P-gens, leaves the shield online and the SMD, but it's not even loaded, so it doesn't even matter. Another nuke launches. Again, nukes are going to be launching for a while. So Team 2's got to spam up their SMD production. Again, they have their own nuke launcher. It's not as powerful as the YOLO, but it's better than nothing. We have 3 columns here in the south. If this was nuked, 3 players are dead and dusted. Looks like they are spamming up SMDs as I mentioned earlier. 2 are in the clip, so they'll be able to stave off 1 nuke from the YOLO. YOLO is done. You don't have SMD. Looks like the comm of Prima. Oh! Looks like it was hit by some Scathis fire. The YOLO is still alive, though. Looks like Prima teleported in. Could not kill the YOLO, but a lot of the shield infrastructure in it is down. Shields are popping back on. I do apologize for missing that. Again, I did say I looked at this game earlier, but again, a lot happens. So that nuke does launch from the YOLO. There should be more Scathis fire raining down from the heavens. There they go. Is it enough to take out the YOLO? Impacts on the shields. Takes one of them offline for a second, but does not do any infrastructure damage. And I think Team 1 has it under control. That is not going to penetrate the shields. If they had a Maver, it would. But that one's dead. So, too soon? Probably too soon. We have that nuke again. He gets hit by 2 of those SMDs from this forward SMD. Those anti-nukes. There's 1 in the clip still. There's 0 here, but there's at least another one built. There's another SMD built. These 2 need to be under shields. You don't want any gunships being deployed to take them out. We have a megalith built. That's an interesting move. Using that for high hit points as well as the torpedoes off. Another nuke. Again, a lot of those nukes are going to be launched at that Scathis because that's the main issue for Team 2 as of right now. They're winning Navy slowly, but they're winning Navy. They could probably push a little harder, but they're being a little conservative about it, which isn't wrong, but it does give Team 2 more time to build up defenses. Team 2 does have a couple of these Atlantis placed to help prevent any possible float buys, run buys, swim buys. We have another nuke, not from a YOLO, but from a regular nuke launcher, a Liberator. So that's in another nuke. We have 2 nukes in the air as of right now. I wouldn't be surprised to see a third one. How's that YOLO defense doing? Yep, shields are online. Rover drones are on task to deal with shield production and maintaining. 1 anti-nuke hits it. Doesn't kill the nuke. It's going to keep going in. But there are, again, nukes in the clip, anti-nukes in the clip. Takes out that YOLO nuke. And that nuke does land to take out the defenses for the Navy here from Flagon. Again, he's rebuilt at least his mass extractors, but hasn't pretty much done anything else for his main base. Another nuke. Again, just nuke after nuke after nuke. And when you got it, you spam it as hard as you can. And if you spam it fast enough and long enough, that hopefully, at least for the ones having the YOLO, would deplete the anti-nukes and be able to kill whatever you're targeting. Would like to see maybe the YOLO target something else. I mean, there are SMD. They're not loaded, but you could take out the secondary base for a Matry. There isn't an SMD here. There's SMD, of course, here. You could target, take out this front line, and then work your way back. You could take out more auxiliary bases. But again, I do understand the priority of focusing down that Scathis, because if it builds and another one's under construction as well, that could be a problem. Because they can hold off against 1 Scathis. Can they hold off against 2 or even a 3rd or even a 5th? I guess 5 is probably, I guess maybe 3 or 4 is the point where it just starts to be ridiculous. There is a counter Scathis out from the play of Hee Ha Ho built. They like to build underneath the water and then walking onto land. It is mobile. That is a feature of the Scathis, is it can be moved, unlike the Maver and other installations. Again, that another nuke, that previous nuke does not land. Pretty much Team 2 has a handle on how many anti-nukes need to be built and maintained. That Scathis fire is starting to rain down. Team 2 probably notices and goes, okay, that's a problem. And doesn't, I think they've changed targets. I would assume so. Yep. It's hard because the rounds start to disappear for some reason when they go far enough. They disappear. I think because they go farther. I don't know. It's kind of weird. Answer down in the comments why the rounds disappear. Usually I can see them all the way to when they land, but it's like about quarter way through they disappear. Those initial rounds impacting the shields, not a huge issue for them. Takes out a couple of transports and a couple engineers, but nothing that can't be replaced. I guess pretty much everything but your comm in this game can be replaced, but it's just the mass that you use to mass and energy used to produce it cannot be taken back. Shields, starting to lose their strength. These are Cybran. They aren't the strongest things on the in the game. Again, would have liked to see some tech sharing. Probably get some Seraphim shields or even UEF shields. UEF shields are definitely better than Cybran shields. There was somebody that commented a couple videos ago about how Aeon shields are the worst because of their shield radius, and I'm like, I agree with that because they are very small. The Cybrans, I mean, they're not bad in terms of radius, as you can see, but in terms of strength, they are not great. And that Scathis does lose shielding, unlike the Scathis of Team 2, and it looks like he just finished building that second one. Impacts the ground, takes a couple bits of damage, takes out more of the hit points. A lot of the shields starting to go down. Shields flicker back on, will protect that Scathis for a couple more volleys. Again, constantly making sure that you point out to your teammates that there are megas. 2 megas have made their way on this western approach, and they're using those torpedoes to help push back the lines of Team 1. More shells launch. Again, shields being focused and production-wise, more and more shields being produced. A decent amount of that air grid has been taken out just from that widespread watering can. And no, it was not a Scathis. Wait, there was one under construction. Where'd it go? It's kind of weird. I swear there was one there. But anyway, that Scathis from Team 1 out from Hee Ha Ho, starting to lose its shields more and more. It's not keeping up. There's that nuke launched out from Team 2 going for that Zooey production yards and facilities. Takes out a huge section of them. More shells from that Scathis rain down, taking out more and more shields, dealing a little bit more damage to that Scathis. And that Scathis is going to move and go back into the water. That's a very sensible move. Might as well save it. Another YOLO nuke is launched. If there isn't just a regular nuke launcher. Nope, that is the YOLO nuke. You never know, because they could have just put another nuke launcher next to it. There's a satellite overhead. I would focus on taking out the shields, preventing any Scathises from coming back onto the land. Again, just more and more RASCOMs being used to just pump those SMDs full of shields. There's a whole bunch of Atlantises in the middle fighting a whole bunch of harms. Just torpedoes being flung at each other non-stop. The Scathis moving around. I don't know, where is it going? It's going to here? I don't know. Maybe it's just trying to avoid any shots, but it is a wide spread, so you just got to be aware of that. Teammates letting Amy know that they need to charge their YOLO. And that Scathis is now just sitting there. Just thinks it's deep enough. I would probably bring it a little more far forward just in case, because I feel like that far down the AoE probably can still hit it, but if you drop it down a little bit more, you should be fine. Again, another set of shells from the Scathis rain down. Looks like they've retargeted the air grid, or the rest of the air grid, as well as the power generators. think all of those land factories are still operational. I don't see any air factories though. It's pretty much just shields and power. That's it. It's a power farm up here in the north of the map for Team 1. Yeah, more and more of those shells do land. The Scathis comes back onto land. That was a terrible mistake. And it does end up being destroyed. That is definitely a loss. They could have even walked it like all the way over here to the YOLO and just hide underneath the shields, because that still hasn't fallen yet. And more shields again have been constructed. This satellite trying to do its hardest to penetrate it to take out that SMD, but I don't think it's going to get anywhere. And more Scathis fire take out a huge section of that power grid. I guess there's one T3 factory right here. Oh, there's nuke launches being done by these Plant Bs looking to try to edge out the Scathis down here in the south, but there's just comprehensive coverage of those SMDs, and it's not really going to go anywhere, unfortunately. I guess one of them launched for the island. That is a good move, because that is going to be a actual successful landing of that nuke. There's a bunch of satellites being produced. You should probably get SMD. You should probably move that SMD closer, because if the YOLO did the same thing it's going to do, or it did last time, that's not safe. It just isn't. And Team 1 just being more and more conservative. They could push more and more inward. I mean, yeah, they do have some Atlantis to deal with, and they are starting to around this northern section. But I mean, they could have probably taken this whole section out a lot sooner, in my opinion.
Strategic launch detected.
I mean, Team 2 is moving around this southern middle island here in this in the bottom lane, pretty much. There is infrastructure down here. Looks like there is an SMD. It isn't loaded. They could easily take out a decent amount of those RASCOMs, though. Take a chunk out of their opponent's eco. Speaking of eco, it's hovering between 3 and 4.1. I don't know if that's power related or not, but let's just call it 3.1. Could have been reclaimed too. So 3.1, let's say, to 2.1, that's 1,000 mass generated difference, and it's showing we have at about 600,000 mass more accumulated for Team 1. That is a huge amount of mass. That's pretty much 2 and a little bit paragons. So again, lots of mass that could be used for other things. Massive torpedo bomber spam trying to deter these battleships. And we have T2 sub spam as well, which will start to whittle down all of those hit points. Again, strategic launch detected, and strategic launch is the name of the channel, of course, after that very same announcer. Looks like the Scathis has been retasked on this base of Voda. A massive comprehensive coverage of shields out here from Vanga. And if you don't have shields by now, at the 56-minute mark, that's kind of bad. Again, probably more shields should have been constructed earlier, but that T3 factory is probably going to stay online for now. RAS comms being heavily produced here. The amount of hives here is just insane. Even like they're trying to space that. How many hives can we fit underneath this shield, and how many hives can we fit on the edge of this little island? There's even engineers behind them too. It's just lots and lots of hives. Trying to use any and all space you can. You can't build everything underwater. You can build mass storage and mass extractors, and I think that's it. At least underwater. I guess harms count, but you build them on the top of the water and then they sink. So, in terms of like land structures, you can only build, again, the storage and mass extractors. Nice to see air coverage from these ASFs, at least the rest of the ASFs out from Hihaho, and the rest of those Galaxy class battleships don't make any progress to the main base of Vanga, but these satellites in combination with the Scathis they're able to focus on the shields, and then the Scathis takes out the rest of the energy and are focusing on this SMD right here. It's 7. There are 7 missiles in the clip there. That is a lot of missiles to lose. Oh, there's a YOLO that got past this first island, and it is going to land. Oh, and then it doesn't. That SMD loads just in time, saving this island for Team 2. That was real close. Like I said, you get used to that announcer, especially for this game, because it's going to be sounding every couple of minutes, if not every minute. We have another nuke out for Team 2. Where is this headed? It is headed most likely for that base of Vodalays, and it's gonna. Oh no! It looks like it got shot down. Unfortunately for Team 2, there is another anti-nuke in the clip. It was gonna pass by that bypass that YOLO nuke. Well, that'd have been a nice screenshot, but it didn't last long enough. Unfortunately, look at this. You have Team 1's Atlantises are underneath the Team 2 Galaxy class battleships. Like, it's just, they're just hanging out. Just like, we're friends. We're not really going to be shooting each other. We kind of are, but we kind of aren't. We're just going to hang out. And these battleships are focusing the frontline production of those Atlantis. It's just funny. It's just funny to see that, because you would think there'd be, I don't know, more torpedo bomber spam or more sub spam for Team 2, or Team 1 would have even, like, you know, some battleships or like anything. It's just the way they're fighting each other is almost like polar opposites, so they're still doing some damage but not a whole lot. Looks like some salt going down. Noob. What is he? I don't get why that's. Answer down in the comments why he said noob there.
Strategic launch detected.
Hit fleets with YOLO. Yeah, I don't get that. That is a good point. How much do you just bang your head against the wall before you change targets with the YOLO? I mean, which he is, to be fair. Oh my goodness, the strategic launch is what's going on. I'm at a huge horde of these T3 strategic missile submarines are spamming out their nukes, and it looks like they are going for the satellites, these Novaks from Team 2, and that's a lot of RASCOMs to lose. Ooh, that's gotta hurt. That's a lot of eco. That's a lot of satellites to lose. And again, that's how crazy this game is. We're at 1 hour, and all of those were killed. And Team 1, or Team 2, again, they drop, but they drop a couple hundred mass, but that's not a whole lot. They lose all of those Novak centers, and the game's like, no one's quit. No one's, you know, like, just been, just take all my stuff and whatever. It's like they are still fighting. Everyone is still fighting, which again is very impressive. It's an hour-long subcop brain is definitely set in for pretty much everyone by now. Pretty much everyone has a one-track mind of, I'm going to use this YOLO till it dies. At least for Amy's, you know, you have this Navy that should have been pushed up, you know, 10, 15, maybe even 20 minutes ago. They had some inroads over here, and then Team 1 is able to hold them off. There's some storks out trying to attack these Atlantis. Is that a team? Look, we have another 5-vet Atlantis that's at 60,000. Oh, there's another one. And another one. And another one. And another one. Almost another one. And what's the last one? So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, 5 vet Atlantises. That's just insane to me. Oh, the shields have gone down for that YOLO. There's some shells coming in to impact. Are they going to be able to take out that YOLO? Oh, here they come. Here they come. I was trying to figure out where they were. Taking a minute. Those are impacting, and the YOLO has been defeated in the north. Team 2 is going to breathe a sigh of release from that. Amy is taking a decent amount of hits. If she doesn't move, or if he doesn't move, or they, I don't know, he, she, they, whatever. If they don't move, they're going to get hit by Scathis fire. And, oh, that is a calm kill for Team 2, bringing it back to a 4v4. That is their pretty much tied for the highest rated player on Team 1. So both of Team 1's highest rated players have been defeated. The highest rated player in the game is Matchery for Team 2. Again, if I didn't mention this before, it is 92%, so it's not unbalanced. It's not like perfectly balanced. It's pretty close. I'd say it's about where it normally is. 2 Scathis Fire definitely helped to break that shield protection for that yellow. And just look at all those artillery shells just raining down on Team 1. Just traversing the map. We have some strat bombers out from Team 2 from Matchery, but I think the defenses out from Team 1 are going to prevent a lot of these bombs from landing. There's 5 left. Where are they going? I think they're going for the shields. They don't even take out one of the shields. Energy reserves and all of that. Scathis Fire raining down, taking out an SMD, taking out a lot of the infrastructure out for Vodalays. Again, those harms are still there. Nothing, like hardly anything has changed in the Navy for like 20 minutes, which is pretty sad because, at least for Team 1, because they had the advantage. They have pushed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Atlantis is just straight in. The rest of Team 1 is just, we'll just hang out. Which is good to have a defensive line to fall back to, but it's not super great in terms of support and whatnot. We do have the Atlantis being pulled from their defensive positions and on to attacking those enemy Atlantises. I'm saying Atlantis a lot this game. And again, a lot of it just comes in quality over quantity. Like you have the Zooey spam versus these, Atlantis spam, sort of spam. You have more Atlantises. ASF going down, fighting over not really, hardly any. There's a couple SAMs, not a whole lot. Team 1 is definitely going to win air here. It looks like as of right now. There's a nuke coming down for this little small island. The ASFs out from Matchery are dwindling down in numbers. They're fighting over some anti-air from these, I guess those are torpedoes, excuse me, from Team 2. But again, they are able to secure the air. There is a small group of backup ASFs for Vodalays as well. Team 2 looking, they're going to focus on another Scathis. It's going to be number 3, folks. Number 3. Again, there are 3 comms in the southern section of the map, southeastern section of the map. That's, if they got a YOLO in, that would have been devastating. That nuke does land, taking out some mass for Team 2. Again, it's dropping them down, little by little. That does make a difference after a while, though. Some sub-killers out. These T2 Barracudas taking out all of these production yards. The comm of Noob Dragoon is in the water. He does have the stealth upgrade. He's trying to reclaim these Atlantises, it look like. Or maybe build some torpedo launchers. This says, that's a lot of torpedoes. I'm just going to go on to land now. We have engineers out from him trying to chase down these Atlantises to perform a reclaim order on them, which is just crazy. We have some cruisers out just pummeling all of the infrastructure over here for Team 2. We have a huge column of harms being spammed up. More harms over here. Dual harm protection lines. So many subs. This is like just pure sub and game ender, focus. We have some strat bombers coming in overhead. There's some SAMs in the area. They're not going to get a whole lot of work done. They could have gone after maybe this quantum gateway, taking out some RASCOMs, but there are Atlantises on Atlantises. There's a huge column of these Barracudas trying to make it into the backline, taking out these anti-air defenses, these T3 SAMs out from the Seraphim player of Matchery. They go into the backline, probably taking out the rest of these production yards. That's a pretty good move. Harms are being built up as well as regular torpedo launchers, so not a lot of headway going to be made here. So might as well go after something. And then they see, ooh, what are these? There's a lot of RASCOMs here. Let's go target these guys. Let's check on the Scathis damage going down in the northern section of the map. Huge section of Vanga's base is being demolished. We have the hugest gathering of hives I have ever seen. A nuke launches from that nuke launcher, by the way. Just look at all of them. How many of them are underneath the shield coverage? Don't grab those. Just these. There's 152 plus You won't give me counts. 29. So there's probably like close to like 180, maybe 200. And then you have another 57 plus I'd say there's probably 250, maybe close to 300 of those hives there. Apologies for that. There was somebody at my door. Anyway, let's get back onto the action again. Scathless fire raining down, trying to take out all of those hives. Those shields, if they are assisted by those hives, are not going to fall anytime soon. You need a Maver, and even then, the amount of assistance going down on those hives is just a lot. That third Scathless is completed. We have three Scathluses done, and just firing anything and everything at their opponents. We have another set of nukes out from these Plan B strategic missile submarines. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's probably not going to be enough to take out this southern base out from Matchery or those Scathless, because we have 6 in the clip here. 2. See all of those launch from their respective silos. And again, that's all the nukes that were loaded here for this squad battle group of Plan Bs, and there's still more nukes in the clip. We got 3 here. You got another 2 here. That's 5. You got 6, 9, 10, and still 12. You got 12, and they're still loading all the time. A lot of those Atlantises have fallen for both teams. We have some battleships here in this channel, and harms just constantly being produced. We have these destroyers trying to prevent any more construction of the harms. We have RASCOMs going down. I mean, like I said, it took a while to get to this point, but it's popping up. We have another set of strategic missile subs. I don't know if I think they're loading nukes. I don't know if that's prioritized or not. So I don't think those are loading nukes. These subs are retreating, however. There's I was going to say Storks, but they're not Storks. The T2 bombers out from Matchery are primarying down these strategic missile submarines because no more nukes for them. No nukes. If they had enough, they could have loaded the SMDs. Wow, I'm trying to think of the word. And this Scath is just trying to break the shields. It's not going to. There's too many. There's just too many hives. Did take out a decent section of them though, but there's just too many hives. Just too many. Massive wing of strat bombers being produced and being sent somewhere. And I guess Scath's fire being split, taking out any additional infrastructure it can. Team 2 is essentially operating on, don't really count that because it's been surrounded, and it's just SAMs. And there is an SMD, and it's a third loaded, which is crazy to me that it's that far forward in, I guess, what's now enemy territory, and it still isn't taken out. They're operating at about like 30% of the map, which again isn't a lot considering it's a 20 by 20. Another couple nukes go off, trying to launch their nukes before another one gets off. It's nuke before it dies, but the rest of these strategic missile submarines are going to go down, especially with the assistance of these Atlantises. They're trying to again go after the Scathuses of Team 2. 1, 2, and 3 will be shot down. Boom. Yeah, all of the nuking efforts from Team 1 have not yielded any success in taking out this artillery position for Team 2. And they are prioritizing megalith spam to help with taking out any and every naval vessel that comes to try to invade their territory. And there's just, like, Team 1 owns, like, most of the map. There's another set of strat bombers. They're grouping up here, which, I mean, I don't know why. You could easily go in and, like take out the air grid. They're going to go and take out... Not worth taking out that engineer. I can tell you that. One engineer is not worth a strat bomb. And now they have been spotted by those ASFs and are going to die without making any meaningful damage. It looks like all these Rascoms are trying to be shot at, but are kind of just like trying to get a build order down, but they won't move. And look at all the mass on Team 2's side of the map. 53,000, 64,000, 23,000, 25,000, 65, 70,000. Just all of the mass. Looks like, again, more and more reclaiming efforts. What's the reclaim look like now? Team 1 is now leading the reclaim game. 1.15 million mass reclaimed versus 790,000 mass reclaimed. That's so much. Total mass accrued 9.75 million for Team 1 and 7.86 million for Team 2. Team 1 is winning the mass game by almost 2 million mass. The game is still not over, and Team 2 still has the advantage with at least the artillery game. They have 3 Scathuses online, and Team 1 is like, they have 2 million mass more accrued. That's just insane. That's pretty much 8 Scathuses, each 250,000, and I think it's like 200 or 20 or something. It's not like, it's like a tiny bit over 250,000. So that's 8 Paragons. That's so many Paragons. Like, building 1 in a game is a lot, and building 2 is, you get very lucky if you build 2. So 6 nuke subs plus sub hunters. Again, still intel communication efforts are being done by Team 2 to help just defer this attack. You have, yeah, like they said, they have subs. They have, Team 2 has these megaliths. There's another nuke out from Team 1, out from this huge horde of hives, plus the, again, there's the SMD, and there's another horde of hives over here producing Rascoms all the time. And it's still a 4v4, and it's an hour and 13 minutes in. Again, if you've made it this long into the game, thank you so much. I know, again, the beginning was slow. Some of it does get slow. I missed a few of the deaths, but again, thank you so much for watching. I greatly appreciate it. Please like the video. Please comment down below about what your favorite moment from this game was. Again, let's go ahead. And if you haven't subbed, please do so. I greatly appreciate it. I'm almost at 200. I can't believe I'm almost at 200. That's crazy to me. It's only been about a month or so that I've been producing a lot of my content. So thank you so much for all of the support. I greatly appreciate it. We have a counter megalith 4 vet, probably it's going to be 5 vet here in a couple seconds. Out here from the white player of Vanga, we have, again, these megaliths. One of them has fallen. Just because of the huge health pools they have, it just takes forever for torpedoes, I mean, from a lot of different ships, to just kill them. And because they're so far, well, they're not super far down, they could ground fire, the battleships could ground fire them, but they're focused on other targets. That second one does fall. There's one more left for Team 2. That Scathus fire just fanning out a nuke out from the strategic missile launcher that was been here for a while. Vanga has built an experimental. I'm assuming it's probably like a megalith or something. I don't see. There's that megalith that's still here. I don't see another white circle anywhere. It could have been Trent control. Oh, it's back here. It's a scath. There's another Scathus. It's way in the corner though, and they would have to probably get all the way over here to use it. And yeah, Vanga's asking where should I put it. I mean, they could put it here and build up some shields. The only disadvantage in that nuke is going to land and take out the couple Rascoms as well as that quantum gateway. A lot of the infrastructure for Team 1 starting to whittle away. And Team 2's lost, again, a lot of theirs too. So it's pretty much just Rascoms and Matry's main base and secondary base. And that's it for base-wise. There's not a whole lot going on. There's even T3 naval factories in Team 2's, like, pretty much territory, not pretty much territory, their original territory, producing ships on the front line, which is just crazy. Another wing of strat bombers. They are sighted by these ASFs, and the ASFs go, nah, it's a little too far forward. And all of that Scathless fire still can't penetrate the shields. They take out the SMD and takes out some additional hives, but looks like there is a nuke launch happening. You can hear the little beeping. That, well, how small that nuke is compared to the YOLO nuke. It's so tiny, but so big explosion. And I guess the YOLO is even bigger, and it has an even bigger explosion, to be fair. But like, look at the map control that Team 2 has. I mean, now they're operating on like 15%, maybe. Nah, I wouldn't say 20. I'd say about 15%. They have this huge column of harms. They have their Scathuses. They have a YOLO. They have a YOLO under construction. An hour, 16 minutes. That's insane. That's insane. They don't go for more. You would think they go for more Scathus. Because I think, if I remember correctly, let's go select a engineer. Go to the YOLO. Yeah, again, the YOLO. How much is the mass cost for a YOLO? I don't... Oh, here we go. 187,000 mass versus... Let's see, let's select one of these high... No, these can't build anything. This versus the Scathus... Oh, I guess the YOLO is cheaper, to be fair. But you would think they'd go for more Scathus spam. Bombs are coming in overhead. A lot of them are going to impact. They take out the first shield. Second shield goes down. Takes out one of the Scathuses. There's still a shield operational, so one of them has been taken out, dropping Team 2 down to only 2. Another shield goes down. A couple more bombs come in. Oh, they're going to get the second Scathus. Does the AoE damage? It does. It takes out the third Scathus. All 3 Scathuses are down. The YOLO was not even completed as of yet. That's a huge, huge loss for Team 2. But if they are able to get that YOLO up and running and quickly, they are still in it. Team 2 is technically still in. They are still in the game. But they have a plan of attack. They're going for that YOLO. We'd like to see them reclaim a lot of that mass. 158, 178. That's like enough to build one of those things. 46,000 mass here. I mean, you could build pretty much 2 YOLOs with the mass here. They're going to spam out Atlantises. There's another nuke out from Team 1. Somebody should tally up how many nukes have been launched. I feel like that's a lot easier than like my last video I made a comment about how many Perseus were built and destroyed during that match. A lot easier to do nukes because it's a very auditory thing. Like, you hear the notification go off. Sam's being primaried, making sure that all those ASFs don't get pretty close. We do have Summit class just being annihilated by those harms. We have more Atlantises. Again, a lot of units are being stuck pretty much because this is a narrow channel. You have giant units with these giant hitboxes, and it's hard to maneuver. That nuke does land, takes out a couple harms. EMPs, more harms, and EMPs that megalith. Would like to see if that YOLO does finish, which it does, and that nuke has launched. I would like to see it here. Yeah, you might kill a megalith, but you're going to take out a lot more units out from Team 1. That would be my bet, and it is not going for that, unfortunately. It looks like it is going for the counter nuke. This one from Team 1. It's not a bad choice. It looks like there's 2 YOLOs planned. That's not gonna happen, unfortunately, for Team 1. There's another nuke out. That last nuke that's going to be produced, looking like it's going for that hasn't been taken out this entire time. It's still been here, out for match. This thing has been here since the beginning of the game, pretty much over an hour, and now they're finally launching a nuke into it. Looks like there's also a defense satellite. That one SMD anti-nuke does launch. Another nuke releases from that nuke launcher, and it releases just in time, and that is going to be finally the destruction of that island for Team 2. Matchy's thinking all of those hives are finally dead now. But it looks like it's only going to get about 2/3 of them. So it's not going to kill all the hives. Even Themo's like, no, my hives! No! He's like, but why? Looks like we have some intruders for Team 2. These bricks made landfall. There's also a megalith in the back line, causing lots and lots of troubles. That YOLO is almost done. Again, a nuke here would be just chef's kiss, taking out a whole bunch of battleships. That nuke almost lands from Team 1 and does get shot down. There's another nuke. It looks like it's what does Guile say? It's close range nuke defense. That YOLO also launches its nuke. This nuke will not kill the megalith. It takes out about 65,000 hit points. It does EMP. We have some strat bombers overhead. The shield for that YOLO has fallen. More and more strat bombers are releasing their payloads. YOLO goes down into the yellow. More shields are being focused, but blocks one of the bombs from the strat bombers. More strat bombers overhead. Lands another bomb. Impacts the shield. Hives prioritizing the shields. We'd like to see maybe some T2PD spin up. There's also a Monkey Lord on the cards. We have again that Navy out from Team 1. The Team 2 is slowly losing more and more of that map control. They're being pinned into a corner. Well, I guess they're already in a corner to be fair, but pinned in more in a corner. The shield goes down. Megalith seizes it and takes out the YOLO and that AoE explosion. We have Matchery just being like, I'm going to face down this Monkey Lord. Overcharge goes into that Monkey Lord. Tries to hide. It takes another overcharge to the back. This Megalith trying to get an attack angle on this comm. Monkey Lord does go down. Matchery is almost down, sub 2,000 hit points. And because of the environment, because of that mountainside, he is protected from those cannons. That was close. 246 hit points per second regen. That's a lot of hit points. Building a shield. It looks like we have Scathis fire raining down from the heavens. Takes a couple Scathis rounds to the face. Again, those hit points are going to rep up pretty quickly though. We have again that Navy encroaching ever so slowly, ever so prevalently. We have some Rascoms going to defend their fearless leader. They have done their job, and they're just trying to save him from that sleep that he probably longs for now. And ping's going down, notifying everybody on Team 1 of the comm. Matchery comes out of the shields, overcharges into that Megalith, does more fire, drops down to sub 4,000, sub 3,000. Is he going to kill the Megalith? Is he going to kill it? He kills the Megalith. He survives with sub 1,000 hit points. Scathis fire rains down and impacts onto. That's all I wanted in chat. GG. Yeah, hour 22 minutes. Looks like a lot of people did enjoy that game who did play it. And we only have the comm of Flagon. Barg is killed. We have the comm of Noob Dragoon still alive. We have the comm of Flagon still alive. These strat bombers just taking out all of the rest of these Rascoms. And that is definitely going to be a win for Team 1. Looks like Noob Dragoon control Ks. And I wouldn't be surprised if Flagon does as well here pretty soon. We'll just speed it up just a little bit. We have some Tiger Sharks. He has that torpedo upgrade, so he's able to get some last kills in. Team 1 definitely knows he's there. Yep, they can see him. They're like, yep, we can see you. And the torpedoes start to be fired upon. And Flagon's starting to lose those hit points. Oh, he was starting to stay steady, but he's starting to fall. Sub 10,000 hit points. Going into the yellow. Half of his health is gone. Trying to get a nice cinematic shot of this. Look at all those torpedoes just firing into the comm of Flagon. We have strat bombers overhead. Look at that string of torpedoes just constantly firing, and kaboom. That is the final comm death for Team 2, which means Team 1 wins the game. Thank you so much for your time, your attention, your eyeballs, anything and everything, whether that be liking, commenting, subscribing, just enjoying the cast. Thank you so much for all of the support. Again, this was, I think, the longest cast on the channel so far. So thank you to all of those who continued to the end, made it to the end. Thank you so much. And again, thank you for watching, and I will see you all in the next one.